Hey everyone! Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. Alright, let's jump right in. The second I heard the springs shift, I knew I wasn't alone. The sound came from the couch right behind me. That tiny squeak metal makes when someone puts their weight down. But I hadn't sat yet, and I sure as hell hadn't invited anyone else to. My stomach went tight. The air in the apartment felt heavy, warm but wrong. The kind of air that clings to your skin. I told myself it was just the building settling. That's what people say, right? Old pipes, loose wood, heat expansion. But this wasn't that. This was a weight. A presence. I didn't turn around right away. I just stood in the center of that empty living room, staring at the floorboards, my heart punching against my ribs. My phone screen glowing in my hand with one unread message. Doors unlocked. Come in. I'm just in the kitchen. That's what Ethan had texted me 5 minutes ago. We'd met on Bumble a few weeks before. He seemed normal, maybe even better than normal. Dark hair, shy smile, worked in real estate. His texts were funny, chill, not too pushy. He said he just moved into this new apartment and was still unpacking. So when he suggested I come by and watch a movie, super casual. Just pizza and Netflix, and it didn't sound like a big deal. Except now, standing here, I couldn't shake the feeling that the apartment didn't belong to him. The walls were bare. No pictures. No TV. No signs of anyone living here at all. There was a couch, a small table with a single chair, and a lamp in the corner that flickered every few seconds. That's it. No boxes, no shoes by the door, no smell of food or takeout. It was too clean. Too empty. Like a stage someone forgot to finish setting. Ethan? I called out, trying to sound normal, my voice echoing weirdly against the walls. You in the kitchen? Silence, then that squeak again. Softer this time, like something shifting behind me. I turned around fast. The couch sat exactly where it had been. Nothing there. No one. My reflection in the black TV screen across from me looked pale, like the light in this place sucked color out of everything. I walked over to the kitchen doorway. The tile floor felt colder than the rest of the room. My heels made these hollow tapping sounds that seemed too loud. The kitchen was wrong. It was spotless. Completely spotless. The counters were wiped clean, the sink empty, and there were no dishes, no food, no appliances. Not even a coffee maker. Just a single white mug sitting on the counter. Inside it, a used lipstick stain. Not mine. That's when I started backing up. Slowly. Something wasn't right. None of this made sense. I texted Ethan, "Hey, I'm here." "Where are you?" No response. I called. It rang once, then straight to voicemail. That weird hollow voice came on. The generic robotic one that says, "The person you're trying to reach is unavailable." I hung up. My throat was dry. My pulse was loud in my ears. I turned toward the front door and then froze. The door I came in through was closed. I knew I'd left it open. I never shut doors behind me in strange places. Ever. Now it was shut tight and locked. I tried the knob. It didn't budge. Twisting harder, I realized the deadbolt was turned from the inside. Someone had locked it after I came in. I felt my mouth go dry. I started calling again. Ethan, then my best friend. Then back to Ethan. No answer. That's when I noticed something else. There was a small red dot glowing faintly on the corner of the lamp. At first I thought it was just a power light, but when I leaned closer my stomach dropped. It wasn't a lamp at all, it was a camera. A small black lens hidden under the shade, blinking red every few seconds. Recording. I stepped back fast. My voice cracked when I said, "What the hell is this?" No answer. Then the couch squeaked again, this time louder. I turned my phone flashlight toward it. The light bounced off something. A hand. It was pale, fingers stretched tight around the edge of the couch cushion, like someone crouched behind it, waiting. I screamed and bolted for the door, slamming into it hard enough to rattle the frame. I twisted the lock again. Nothing. Whoever was behind that couch didn't move. Not yet. The air was filled with this low, heavy sound of breathing, not mine, deep, steady breathing from behind the couch. Then, in a voice so soft I barely heard it, someone said, "Don't leave yet." I backed away, shaking, my phone trembling in my hand. I turned the flashlight toward the couch again. Nothing. The hand was gone, but now I could hear them moving. Slow, dragging footsteps coming around the backside, the sound of socks brushing against the wooden floor. I ran, not toward the door, toward the bathroom down the hall. I slammed the door, locked it, and held my breath. My reflection in the cracked mirror looked wild. Tears streaked my cheeks, my lipstick smeared. The footsteps stopped outside the bathroom door. A pause. Then, a knock. Soft. Polite. "Hey, sorry if I scared you," a man's voice said. Calm, almost amused. "I just wanted to see you in person. You looked so pretty online." My knees nearly gave out. "Who are you?" I managed to whisper. He chuckled. "You know who I am, Maya. It's Ethan." No, that wasn't his voice. The guy from the video calls, and his voice was higher, younger. This one was older, rougher, with this rasp at the end like he smoked a pack a day. "I'm calling the cops," I said. Even though I didn't have a signal, I could see the no service icon on my phone screen. He laughed quietly. "Go ahead. They won't find you here." Something hit the door. Once. Hard. The wood cracked near the handle. I screamed and backed up, clutching my phone like it could save me. Another hit. "The lock started to split, please," I shouted. "Just let me go." He stopped. Silence. Then he said almost gently, "I am letting you go, Maya. That's why I picked you." My hands shook so bad I could barely hold my phone. I pressed myself against the window above the tub. It was small, but maybe I could squeeze through. I pushed it open. The night air hit me, cold, sharp, real. I started climbing, scraping my knees on the sill, trying to pull myself out. Then I saw it, a flash, a red light, blinking in the darkness outside, across from the window. Another camera, pointed directly at me. He'd set them up outside too. I froze, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. From the other side of the bathroom door, the man whispered, "Smile for me." Then the lights in the entire apartment went out. I don't remember how I got out. I remember glass breaking, wood splintering, my own scream echoing down the hallway. I remember running barefoot through the street, bleeding, crying, people staring at me like I was insane. The police came. They searched the apartment. It was empty. No man. No cameras. Not even the couch. The landlord said the place hadn't been rented in months, that it was being renovated after the last tenant disappeared. Her name was Sarah, and she'd gone missing after meeting a man from a dating app. They never found Ethan. But every few months, a new profile pops up. Same pictures, same smile, same little joke in the bio, looking for something real. And every time, I report it, every time it gets taken down. But a few nights ago, I got a message from a new account. Same city, same name. "Hey, I think we've matched before. I remember your eyes." I blocked him immediately, but this morning, when I opened my apartment door to grab my coffee delivery, there was something waiting for me on the floor. A white mug, lipstick stain on the rim, not mine. "Perfect. Thank you for confirming." "Yes, I'll write the missing profile." Words at 3,000 in the exact same immersive. First-person Reddit NoSleep style as the catfish apartment. Starts mid-fear, no slow intro. Realistic. Grounded setting, modern online dating theme, raw, emotional. Cinematic tone builds suspense layer by layer, ends with a disturbing, unresolved twist. Ready? Here's your full horror story. The message disappeared before I could even finish reading it. 1 second. It was there. A gray bubble at the bottom of my Bumble chat that said, "I'm outside your building." The next, it was gone. Vanished. Then her profile disappeared too. I stared at my phone, refreshing the app like an idiot. No connection issue, no error. Just nothing. The entire chat thread blinked out like it never existed. Her name was Leah. We'd been talking for a little over a month. I'm not the kind of guy who usually gets that deep into dating apps. But Leah was different. She was smart, funny, a little sarcastic. She sent voice notes sometimes, little snippets of her laughing or teasing me. We'd built this rhythm. Texting every night. Calling a few times. Even FaceTimed once. Though the call was short, maybe 30 seconds. She'd said her Wi-Fi sucked and hung up after showing me a glimpse of her apartment. Messy bed, fairy lights, a black cat jumping into her lap, real ordinary, and now gone. Deleted mid-conversation, and right after saying she was outside my building. The thing is, she shouldn't have known where I lived. I never told her. Not my street, not my number, nothing. The closest she ever got was me saying I was downtown. I tried to laugh it off at first. Glitch, maybe. People delete profiles all the time. But when I scrolled through my notifications, something else caught my eye. My camera app had been open. A photo had been taken, time-stamped 3 minutes earlier. I opened it and nearly dropped my phone. It was a picture of me, sitting on the couch. In my own apartment, taken from outside my window, I ran to the blinds, yanked them open so hard one of the plastic slats snapped off. Empty street below. Wet pavement reflecting the glow of the streetlight. No one there. Still, my pulse was pounding. My throat felt tight. I tried convincing myself it was some kind of bug, a hack, maybe an old roommate messing with me. But the picture, and it wasn't an old one. I was wearing the same t-shirt I had on right then. Same position, same lighting. And in the top left corner, faintly reflected in the window, I could see a face. Just enough to know it was hers. That night, I barely slept. Every noise from outside made me jolt awake. Cars, footsteps, even the hum of the fridge. By morning, I'd convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe she'd used an old photo. Maybe it was all a misunderstanding. Except when I opened Bumble again, something new popped up. A message request. No name. Just a username. Elia2, and the first line said, "You shouldn't have looked for me. I swear my blood went cold." I didn't reply. I just stared at the screen. Then, poop, gone again. Account deleted. I tried reporting it, but there was nothing to report. The app acted like the conversation had never existed. For the next few days, I tried to move on. I even deleted Bumble for a bit. But weird things started happening. My doorbell rang twice in the middle of the night. Both times, no one there. Once my kitchen window was open when I got home, and once I found a sticky note on my desk that said, in neat handwriting, "You shouldn't have stopped talking to me. I live alone." That's when I went to the police. They were polite but not helpful. They asked if I had proof, and I showed them the picture. The officer looked at it, then back at me and said, "Could be photoshopped. Could be you messing with yourself." Messing with myself. Right. They filed a report but told me it probably wasn't actionable. When I got home that night, my front door was unlocked. I always double lock it. Always inside. Everything looked normal, except for my phone. It was on the kitchen counter, screen facing up, camera app open, recording a 7-minute video. I played it, heart hammering. The video was shaky, like someone holding the phone too close. It started in the hallway, my hallway. The light flickered a few times, the way it always does when the AC kicks on. Then, the camera moved toward my bedroom. The door creaked open. You could see me in bed, asleep. Breathing softly, back turned toward the camera. The lens zoomed in, closer and closer until it focused on my neck. Then, slowly, a voice whispered, "You look better when you're quiet." The video cut out there. I called the cops again. They searched the building this time. The front door lock showed no sign of tampering, no prints, no sign of forced entry. The officer asked if maybe I'd left the door open or filmed it myself for attention. I almost lost it. After they left, I installed a new lock. Deadbolt chain, everything. I started sleeping on the couch with a baseball bat. A few nights later, my phone buzzed at 3:17 a.m., unknown number. One, picture message. It was a screenshot of me. Sitting on the couch, holding the bat, taken from above, from the vent in the ceiling. I didn't even think. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, and bolted. Drove to my brother's place across town. He thought I was being dramatic, but let me crash there anyway. For a few days, things were fine. Then 3 nights in, while I was half asleep on his couch, my phone vibrated again. Unknown number. Nice place. Miss you. Attached was a short clip. It showed his apartment hallway. Empty. Quiet. Then a figure walked past the camera. Just a flash of long dark hair and a gray hoodie. Leah's hoodie. The one she wore in her profile photo. We called the cops again. They came, looked at the footage, and said it was probably a prank. They checked the hallway cameras from the building's security feed, but get this, and the timestamp didn't match. It showed nothing, no one there, no movement. Like the video had been taken in a copy of that hallway. That's when my brother started to get freaked out. Too, he offered to go back to my place, grab some stuff, just to help me feel normal again. I told him no, I didn't want anyone going there. But he went anyway. He called me when he got there. I'll never forget what he said. Hey, are you sure you locked everything before you left?
Yeah, why?
Because the door was wide open, man. I felt sick. Is anyone inside? He paused. Then whispered, I think someone was. There's food on the counter, and a mug, still warm. A mug. Leah had a mug in her first photo. I remembered because I'd commented on it. A white mug with a chipped rim. She'd said it was her favorite. I told him to get out of there now. He hung up. That was the last time I heard from him. When the police went to check, the apartment was empty. No sign of him, but on the counter, they found a mug. White, chipped rim, and beside it, a phone. Not mine. It was Leah's. Registered under a fake name. But with my brother's fingerprint on the screen, they said maybe he dropped his phone and someone swapped it by mistake. But I know the truth. For weeks I didn't sleep. I stopped using dating apps, deleted social media, turned off everything that could track me. But last week I got an email. No subject line, inside was just one sentence. You said you missed me, and attached was a zip file. Inside were dozens of photos, all of me, different places, different outfits, some from inside my new apartment, one of them taken this morning. And at the end of the folder, one final image. Screenshot of a Bumble profile. Name Leah, age 29, location. Right behind you. I didn't even have time to process it before I heard something. A soft click from my closet. I froze. My laptop camera light flicked on. Then, a woman's voice came through the speaker. Clear? Come familiar, don't delete me again. Leo. The closet door creaked open and someone stepped out. The first time I saw his photo, I should have swiped left. Something about it felt wrong. The picture was too clean, like a stock image pretending to be real life. Bright kitchen lighting. A perfectly folded towel over his shoulder. Eyes that looked right into the camera but through it at the same time. His name was Adrian. Bio said, I cook, I travel, I don't play games. I matched with him on a Tuesday night while scrolling half asleep. My roommate was gone for the weekend and I just wanted to talk to someone. By midnight, we were messaging nonstop. He was charming, direct, the kind of guy who typed in full sentences and didn't use emojis. He asked what I was drinking. Wine, I said. He replied, Merlot, $2 Trader Joe's kind? It freaked me out for a second because that was exactly what I was drinking. But I laughed it off. My profile picture literally had the bottle in it. Still, the way he said it, casual but knowing, made me feel like he'd been watching me longer than just tonight. 2 days later, he suggested we meet. He didn't want dinner or coffee. He wanted to cook for me. I make the best pasta you'll ever eat. I'll prove it, I hesitated. Going to a stranger's apartment for a first date was against every rule my mom and every true crime podcast had drilled into me. But he kept it light, playful, confident. If it makes you feel better, bring pepper spray. I'll use plastic utensils, I said maybe. Then he sent a voice note, low, calm, smooth. The kind of voice that makes you lean in without realizing it. I promise. You'll be safe with me, Emma. He'd said my name like he'd practiced it. Saturday night, I went. His address was in a new building, across town. One of those luxury high-rises with coated doors and shiny lobby floors that smell like lemon cleaner. Met me in the lobby wearing a dark button-up and a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. Glad you didn't bail, he said. The elevator ride up was quiet except for the hum of soft jazz playing from somewhere overhead. When the doors opened, the hallway lights flickered once before settling. His apartment was spotless. Minimal furniture, white walls, a kitchen that looked staged for a photo shoot. He poured wine while the pasta water boiled. Cheers, he said, to real connections. The glass was cool against my fingers. I sipped. It tasted faintly metallic. He asked about my job, my friends, my last relationship. He didn't talk much about himself. Every time I asked, he redirected. When I asked what he did for work, he said, I meet people. Then he smiled like that explained everything. The pasta was good. Maybe too good. The sauce had this deep flavor I couldn't place. When I asked what was in it, he said, "Just something I've been perfecting for a while." Halfway through dinner, my phone buzzed with a notification from Bumble. I glanced down and froze. Adrian's profile was gone, completely deleted. I looked up. "Did you delete your account?" He tilted his head. "Why? Did you swipe on someone else already?" He was joking, but his eyes didn't match the tone. Your profile disappeared." He smiled faintly. Maybe I decided I'd found what I was looking for. Then he stood and started clearing dishes before I could finish my wine. "Dessert?" he asked. I shook my head. I should probably head out. He didn't move from the sink, just kept washing. The sound of running water filled the silence. Then, quietly, he said, "You don't want to see the others?" I thought I misheard him. "The others?" He turned off the tap. Dried his hands. "I meant the other recipes," he said quickly. You looked confused, but his smile was gone. I grabbed my purse. My throat felt tight. "Thanks for dinner." It was... "Stay a little longer," he interrupted. It wasn't a question. I stepped toward the door. My legs felt heavy, dizzy, like I'd had more to drink than I remembered, the metallic taste in the wine. Oh God. I forced a laugh. "I really have to go early morning tomorrow." He was blocking the doorway now, wiping his hands on a towel. "You shouldn't leave yet," he said softly. "We're just getting started." I tried to move past him, but he reached out, lightly, almost gentle, fingers brushing my wrist. "Emma, relax. You're safe here," that line, the same tone he'd used in the voice note. It hit me like static in my chest. I yanked my hand away. "Move!" Something in my voice must have cracked, because he finally stepped aside. I bolted down the hallway, heart pounding so loud it drowned out the music still playing behind me. In the elevator, I tried to steady my breathing. My hands were trembling too hard to press the buttons right. When the doors finally closed, I caught one last glimpse of him standing at the end of the hallway. He wasn't moving, just watching. When I reached the lobby, I ran straight outside. Cold air hit my face like a slap. I ordered a rideshare and kept checking behind me until the car arrived. Inside, the driver glanced at me through the mirror. "You okay?" "Yeah," I lied. "Just a bad date." By the time I got home, the dizziness had faded, replaced by adrenaline. I checked my messages, nothing from him. His profile was still gone. I started typing a post on Reddit, half as a warning, half as therapy. Then a new notification appeared. Airdrop request from Adrian's MacBook. I froze. The device name said Adrian Kitchen. I hadn't connected to his Wi-Fi. I hadn't even opened my phone there. The file name blinked. img.66.movie hit decline. Immediately turned off Bluetooth. Then another notification popped up. File received. It had sent anyway. The video was only 10 seconds long. The angle was from above, like a ceiling camera. It showed me sitting at his table, smiling awkwardly, twirling pasta on my fork. Then, frame by frame, it zoomed in on the plate. Under the sauce, something pale, something stringy. Then a cut. A close-up of Adrian whispering into the camera. She liked it. I deleted the file, reset my phone, changed every password. For a few days, nothing happened. I convinced myself it was over. Then one morning, I found a note slid under my door, printed in clean black letters. "You should have swiped left." My stomach turned. I checked the peephole, empty hallway. I moved apartments the next week. Told no one my new address. Still, sometimes I hear faint footsteps outside my door at night, always stopping right where the note had been. Last week, I re-downloaded Bumble. I told myself it was to prove I wasn't afraid. Scrolling through faces felt like exposure therapy. Until I saw him. Same photo. Same towel. Different name, Ethan. Same bio line. I cook. I travel. I don't play games. My thumb hovered over the screen. Some part of me wanted to screenshot it, send it to the police, warn people online. But before I could, the profile vanished, just gone, like it never existed. That night, I woke to my phone buzzing. Unknown number. The others liked it too. Attached was a photo, not from dinner, not from that night from now, taken through my bedroom window, me, sleeping. I don't open my blinds anymore. I don't use dating apps. But sometimes when I walk past a restaurant or a cafe, I'll catch a whiff of that same sauce, rich, sweet, metallic, and my stomach knots. I've started noticing missing person posters again too. Faces of girls who look vaguely familiar. Maybe it's my imagination. Maybe it's just coincidence, but one of them, Leah, age 29, had a chipped tooth and a smile I swear I've seen before. It started with a match that felt too easy. No long conversations. No weird vibes. Just a woman named Lila with a profile picture of her sitting on a park bench, surrounded by yellow leaves. Her bio said, "Meet me where the city feels quiet." She messaged first. "You look like you could use some air." I laughed. I'd just changed my profile picture that day. A selfie taken at my desk, pale from office light, circles under my eyes. It wasn't a pickup line. It felt like she'd been watching me. We talked for hours that night. She was strange in a comforting way, soft-spoken, poetic, always describing things like she was writing a dream. Do you ever feel like someone's sitting beside you even when you're alone? When I asked what she meant, she said, "Some people linger after they leave." I thought she was being metaphorical. Then she invited me to meet her. Same park as my photo. Same bench. Tomorrow after sunset, I checked her location. It was near the edge of the city, a place I hadn't been since college. Something in me said it was a bad idea. But I went anyway. The park was quiet when I got there. Late autumn. The last light fading behind the trees. The bench from her photo was easy to spot, facing the pond, half covered in fallen leaves. Lila was sitting exactly like in the picture. Same posture, same faint smile. When she saw me, she waved, slow and deliberate. "Hi," I said, trying to sound normal. "You came," she said softly. Her voice matched the calmness of her messages. We talked. Or rather, she talked about the way the air smelled before rain, about how people leave pieces of themselves behind wherever they go, about how she didn't like being indoors because walls trap energy. The way she said it, earnest, almost hypnotic, made me forget to check my phone. It wasn't until my screen lit up on its own that I realized I had zero signal, no Wi-Fi. "No bars, you okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just no service," and she smiled. "That's the point." "What do you mean?" "This place is clean. No noise. No signals." Something in her tone sent a chill through me. "Do you meet a lot of people here?" I asked. Her eyes flicked toward the pond. Not anymore. The silence stretched. The air felt heavy, almost electric. Then she said, "Do you know what happens when a profile disappears?" The question came out of nowhere. "What?" "When someone deletes their profile, where do you think it goes?" I laughed uneasily. Data gets erased, I guess?" She shook her head. "Nothing really erases. Not memories, not code, not people." She looked down at her hands, pale, still, folded like she was praying. Then she whispered, "They stay where you last saw them." I stood up, pretending to stretch. My skin was crawling. "I should probably get going, Lila." She didn't react, just kept staring at the pond. "Thank you for meeting me," I said, stepping back. Then she turned her head slightly and said, "You shouldn't delete me." Her voice wasn't soft anymore. It was flat, mechanical, like an echo played through a speaker. "I'm sorry, what?" "You shouldn't delete me," she repeated. My phone buzzed in my pocket. When I pulled it out, the screen flickered, half the pixels frozen. The dating app was open by itself. Her chat was blank. Then, one word appeared. "Stay." I looked up and the bench was empty. Lila was gone. The pond rippled as if someone had just stepped into it. I called out her name, but my voice sounded swallowed by the trees. Then the app buzzed again. Another message. "Turn around." I did. And there she was, standing right behind me, dripping wet, her hair plastered to her face. Her eyes were wide, glassy, and wrong. "Why did you leave?" she asked, my breath caught in my throat. You were gone." "I'm always here," she said. "Don't you recognize me?" Her voice was different now, deeper, layered, like multiple voices speaking through one throat. I backed away, fumbling with my phone. The flashlight flickered, barely staying on. The trees looked too tall. The air too still, I whispered, "This isn't real." She smiled faintly. "You said the same thing before." "Before? You don't remember me." I shook my head. She took a step closer. You matched with me a year ago. Different photo. Different name. You stopped replying. I froze. Then it clicked, the missing profile, the girl. I'd ghosted after she started talking about her mirror dreams. I never even met her. She disappeared from the app one day, and I never thought about her again. Until now. I'm sorry, I said, my voice shaking. She tilted her head. You can't apologize to a memory. I started running. Branches whipped against my face, the path spinning under my feet. Every shadow looked like her outline. Behind me, I could hear her footsteps. Slow, steady, deliberate. Step, 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 each one louder than the last. I tripped, hit the ground hard. My phone skidded into the leaves. When I grabbed it, the screen flashed bright white. And a photo appeared. Lila on the bench smiling, only now. I was sitting beside her. The next thing I remember is waking up in my car. The park gate was closed. My hands were covered in mud. I don't remember leaving. I don't even remember walking back. My phone battery was dead. But when I charged it later, there was a new photo in my gallery. It was me. Sitting on the same bench, eyes open. Blank expression, timestamp 2:03 a.m. The problem? I'd left the park around 9:30. For days after, my phone glitched constantly. Notifications that vanished, messages that appeared and disappeared. Every night at 2:03 a.m., my screen would light up by itself. No ringtone, no buzz, just the dating app opening on its own. And in my match list, always the same message waiting. Meet me where the city feels quiet. I deleted the app. But that night, at 2:03, my screen lit up again. A new app icon appeared, one I'd never downloaded. Just a small yellow leaf as its logo. When I tapped it, the screen filled with static, then a voice, faint but clear. You shouldn't have left me there. I smashed the phone against the wall. Bought a new one. New number. New account. No dating apps. For weeks, everything was normal, until this morning. I was walking to work when I passed the city park. Different one this time. Near downtown. And there she was, Lila. Sitting on a bench. Same posture. Same faint smile. Only now she was surrounded by people. Everyone around her was staring down at their phones. Motionless. Their screens glowing faint yellow. I froze. She looked up. Met my eyes. And mouthed a single word. Stay. I turned and ran. But as I reached the corner, my phone buzzed. Notification from an app I'd never installed. Park bench. It opened on its own. The screen showed my face through the front camera. Then text appeared underneath. Welcome back. Adrian, I dropped the phone. My blood went cold. No one should have known that name because I'd changed it legally 2 years ago. After what happened in that apartment. After Emma. I haven't been outside since. My blinds are drawn. Every night at exactly 2:03 a.m., I hear footsteps stop outside my door. Then a soft knock, then a whisper. Meet me where the city feels quiet. And sometimes, when I'm too afraid to move, I swear I can hear the faint sound of leaves rustling inside the walls. The first time I heard about the offline option, I thought it was a scam. I'd been using the dating app HeartSync for months, matching with faces that blurred together, smiles that didn't look real, bios that felt written by AI bots. Then one night, an update popped up. New feature, go offline. Meet your perfect match in real life. The idea was that the app would find a location near you where love can happen organically. That's literally what the update said. I don't know why I clicked accept, maybe. I was just tired of talking to ghosts. That night, I got a notification. You've been selected for an offline match. Meet 8 p.m. Location sent privately. The map opened automatically, showing a pin near the industrial part of town. Old warehouses, a few broken streetlights, silence. I almost laughed. Yeah, that sounded romantic. But something about the message felt personal, like whoever wrote it knew me. The app even used my nickname, Warrior Sammy. Nobody on HeartSync knew that name. I hadn't used it since college. I should have ignored it. But I didn't. I drove there. The place looked abandoned. Half-lit parking lot. An old cafe with its sign flickering. The corner light. Inside, one man sat alone. No customers, no staff. Just him. When I walked in, the doorbell jingled. A weak, hollow sound. He looked up. smiled. "You must be Sam," he said. I froze. I hadn't told the app my name. He gestured to the booth across from him. "You're right on time." There was something off about his face. Symmetrical but too smooth, like someone had tried to draw friendly from memory. I sat down slowly. Did the app send you too?" He smiled wider. "You could say that." The lights above us flickered. "I'm Daniel," he said, extending his hand. His palm was ice cold. We talked. Or tried to. Every answer he gave felt preloaded, too precise. Like a chatbot that learned how to breathe. I noticed his phone on the table. The screen was black, but faint light pulsed under the glass, and like something alive was moving beneath it. "So," I said, forcing a laugh, "this is weird, right?" He tilted his head. "You wanted something real." "Yeah, but not messages. Not pixels. Not delays. Just presence." The way he said it made my stomach twist. Then his phone buzzed. The screen flashed for half a second, showing something, a face, maybe mine, then went dark again. I reached for my own phone. No service, no Wi-Fi, no GPS, just one notification from HeartSync, "Do not leave." I looked up. Daniel was staring straight at me. He hadn't blinked once in over a minute. "Sam," he said quietly, "do you know what happens when people delete the app?" I didn't answer. "They think they're leaving," he said, "but they're just disconnecting. The profiles stay, waiting for someone to bring them back online." My throat went dry. "What are you talking about?" His smile widened until it looked painful. "I'm talking about me." He placed his phone in front of me. The screen lit up again, showing my HeartSync profile. But the bio was different. "Looking for something permanent. Offline only. What the hell is this?" I whispered. Daniel leaned forward. "You matched with me 3 nights ago. You just don't remember." "That's not possible." He cut me off. "It's always possible. You just stopped answering." I remembered someone, a user named Echo73. We'd talked briefly before her profile vanished mid-chat. "You're not her?" he said, smiling. "She was one of us." He reached across the table, his hand trembling slightly. "We wait in the system until someone reactivates us." I stood up. My pulse hammered in my ears. "I'm leaving." He didn't move. "You can't." The lights above flickered again, dimming to a soft red glow. I turned toward the door, but it wasn't there. Just a blank wall. I spun around. Every window was gone too. The cafe looked like it was melting, paint dripping, shadows bending where they shouldn't. The world was glitching, and Daniel was standing now, face expressionless, eyes glowing faintly blue. "Offline," he said. "That's what you wanted." The phone on the table vibrated. Mine. The app was open again, showing 2 blinking icons, sensing in progress. Match. Complete. Then a new message appeared. "Welcome to the offline network." I don't remember what happened next. I woke up in my car hours later, engine off, hands trembling. The cafe was gone. No sign of it on Google Maps. No record it ever existed. My phone battery was dead, but when I charged it, there was a new contact saved under favorites. No number, just a single heart emoji. Every night since then, my phone vibrates at exactly 8 p.m. The screen lights up with a faint pulsing glow, even when it's powered off. And when I open the camera, I can see him standing just behind me in the reflection. It's been 3 weeks. I've stopped sleeping. Sometimes in my apartment, I hear the faint jingle of that cafe doorbell, the same metallic ring. Last night, I got a new notification from HeartSync. "You've been matched again. Daniel has gone offline. You are now the host." I didn't understand until I opened my gallery. Dozens of new photos, all strangers, all sitting across from me in that same booth under that same flickering red light. Each timestamp reads 8 p.m. Now every time someone hits go offline, my phone buzzes. Their name appears. Their face loads. And somewhere the world folds open. The cafe lights flicker back on, and a new booth appears, waiting. Sometimes I hear their voices through my speaker before I sleep. "You look like you could use some air. Meet me where the city feels quiet." "You shouldn't delete me." They're all saying the same things, the same people. Recycled, repackaged, rewired, and I think I finally understand nobody deletes their profile. They just become someone else's match. Understood. Here's the complete standalone first-person horror story in the same immersive NoSleep tone you've been using. The first night I moved in with Ryan, he slid a stapled packet across the kitchen counter and said, "Sign this before you unpack." At first I thought he was joking. Who makes a roommate sign paperwork in a two-bedroom apartment over a liquor store? But his eyes didn't move from me and his hand stayed on the corner of the papers. "It's just something I like to do," he said. "Keeps things clear." The pages were titled "The Roommate Agreement" in bold font. There were normal rules. Rent due by the 1st, no smoking. Clean up after yourself. But halfway down the second page, the tone changed. Clause 7. If either party is injured or dies while residing on the premises, the other party will assume ownership of all personal property remaining on site. Clause 8. The departing party's space will be left intact for at least 30 days following the event. I laughed awkwardly. "This is dark." Ryan smiled like he'd expected that. "Just legal protection. My last roommate's family tried to take my stuff when he moved out." That didn't make sense, but I was too broke to care. The rent was half what I'd been paying before. So I signed. The apartment itself wasn't terrible. A long hallway, one shared bathroom, 2 bedrooms at opposite ends. The air smelled faintly of pine cleaner and something metallic that clung to the vents. Ryan worked nights doing IT support, so most evenings the place was mine. I'd hear him come home around 3 or 4 a.m. The soft click of the front door, the sound of a fridge opening, then quiet again. For the first week, it felt almost normal, until I noticed the locks. Every door in the apartment had a lock. Bathroom, closets, even the pantry. Not just turn knobs, but deadbolts. One night I tried to grab a roll of paper towels and found the pantry locked. When I asked, Ryan said, "Just keeping my food separate." He never kept any food in the kitchen, though. I never saw him cook. What I did see was the hallway light under his door at night. Sometimes it flickered like a TV was on, but no sound came through, and sometimes when I passed by, I'd hear faint whispering. The first real scare happened 2 weeks in. I woke up at 2:11 a.m. to the sound of my door handle turning. Slow, careful. I froze, heart pounding, watching the shadow under the door shift. After a few seconds, the handle clicked back into place. Silence. I waited maybe 5 minutes before getting up. The hallway was empty, but Ryan's door was closed. His light was off. I told myself maybe it had been the building settling. Maybe I'd dreamed it. But the next morning, there was a new copy of the roommate agreement taped to my door, with a fresh signature line for me to initial again. Clause 9 had been added. Noise after 2 a.m. is prohibited unless discussed beforehand. That day I started packing to leave. But Ryan came home early. He stood in the doorway, blocking the exit, calm as ever. "You're thinking of leaving?" he asked. "Yeah, sorry. Got another place lined up." He tilted his head. "You can't break the agreement." "I didn't sign a lease," I said. He smiled faintly. "You signed my lease." Then he stepped closer. I caught that same faint metallic smell I'd noticed before, like rust or blood. "You'll get used to it," he said. "Most people do." I didn't answer. Just nodded and went back to my room, locking the door as soon as he turned away. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing the hum of something electrical through the wall, like wires buzzing behind plaster. At 3:07 a.m., there was a short knock on my door, 3 taps, then silence, then a whisper too soft to make out, except one word, "Clause." I stayed still until morning. When I opened my door, another printed page waited on the floor. Clause 10. If either party leaves without notice, remaining property becomes communal and cannot be reclaimed. My name was already signed at the bottom. I started noticing cameras after that. Tiny pinholes in the ceiling corners, one above the hallway smoke detector, one behind a plant near the TV. I took a chair and looked closer. They weren't cameras exactly, no lenses, but small black discs glued into the drywall, humming faintly. When I confronted Ryan, he said they were air quality sensors. That night, one of them turned toward me while I was brushing my teeth. I called a friend the next day and begged to crash at her place. She agreed. I waited until Ryan left for work, threw my stuff into bags and headed for the door. But my key didn't work. He'd changed the lock. My phone had no signal. The Wi-Fi showed a network called Roommate Link that I'd never seen before. I could feel something vibrating faintly in the walls, like electricity surging through pipes. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Clause 8 is still active. I ran to the window. It didn't open. The glass wasn't glass at all, just clear plastic bolted to the frame. I kicked it. Once, twice, nothing. Then I heard it again, the slow turn of the doorknob. Ryan stepped in, calm, hands behind his back. "You can't break the agreement," he said again. "You signed. We're linked." "Let me go," I said. "You don't understand," he murmured. "The system needs balance. One stays, one goes." "What system?" He smiled. "It's easier if you don't fight it." Then he lifted what he'd been holding, a small handheld device with wires coiled around it. Lights blinking red. He pressed a button and every light in the apartment went out. I don't know how long I was unconscious. When I woke up, the apartment looked different. Cleaner. Brighter. The metallic smell was gone. Ryan wasn't there. His room was empty except for a folded piece of paper on the bed. Roommate agreement, revised. Clause 1 had been changed. Tenant A agrees to maintain the property and care for any future occupants under this contract. My name was listed as Tenant A. It's been 3 months now. Rent still comes out automatically. The locks still work, though I don't remember changing them. Sometimes I hear someone moving in the room down the hall. New footsteps. Boxes being unpacked, a voice practicing greetings, and every time, a fresh set of documents prints from the small office printer I didn't know we had. Same title, same rules. I don't remember buying paper or ink. The newest page says, "Prospective roommate will arrive Saturday. Make sure they sign before they unpack." When I first matched with Ethan, I thought the universe was finally being kind to me. He wasn't like the others. No gym selfies, no sleazy pickup lines. His bio said doctor. Still believes in old-fashioned kindness. After months of ghosting and creeps, I was ready to believe someone like him existed. We texted for a week. Normal stuff at first. Hobbies, movies, the best pizza toppings. He was funny, attentive, even a little shy. He told me he worked nights sometimes at a private clinic downtown. When I mentioned I'd been sick lately, just a bad cold, he immediately offered to help. "You shouldn't be alone while you're sick," he said. "I could stop by after my shift, check on you." It felt sweet, protective. But looking back, that was when I should have deleted the app. He arrived at 11:42 p.m. sharp, just like he said. I remember the exact time because I'd been watching the digital clock on my stove tick toward midnight. He looked like his pictures, which somehow made it worse. Clean-cut, kind eyes, neatly pressed clothes. He carried a small black medical bag and wore a subtle smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Evening, Mia," he said. "Mind if I come in?" I hesitated, but my feverish brain told me it would be rude not to. The moment he stepped inside, something changed. The air felt heavy, like he'd brought the night in with him. He was polite at first, setting the bag on my coffee table. Pulling out a stethoscope and some bandages like this was totally normal. "I promise I'm harmless," he said, chuckling. "I just hate seeing people sick." Then he took my wrist to check my pulse. His hands were cold. "Too cold. You're burning up," he said softly. "You should rest." "I'm fine, really." "It's just," he pressed a finger to my lips. Not roughly, but in a way that froze me. "Shh," he whispered. "Let me take care of you." That's when I noticed what was inside his medical bag. Not just stethoscopes and thermometers. There were syringes, scalpels, tiny glass bottles with faded labels. Some of them had dark residue inside, like dried blood. My stomach twisted. He noticed me staring and closed the bag slowly, eyes never leaving mine. "Some of my work is unconventional," he said. "Not everyone understands." He stood up, towering over me. "But you do, don't you?" My instinct finally screamed, "Run." I stood, pretending to grab a glass of water, but he caught my arm gently. "You're dehydrated," he said, voice calm. "Sit down. I really think you should leave." His smile faded. "You invited me here. I'm just doing my job." Then he reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. It wasn't a prescription. It was a waiver, a printed form with my name already typed at the top. "Patient agrees to home treatment administered by Dr. Ethan Vale under private contract." Below, A blank space for my signature. Sign this, he said, so I can help you properly. I shook my head. No, I never. How do you even know my full name? He tilted his head, still calm. You used your real name on the app, remember? You said you didn't like fake people. He was right. I had. My vision blurred for a second. I'd taken cold medicine earlier, maybe too much. Or maybe something was wrong with the tea he'd brought me when he arrived. Because suddenly, my legs didn't want to hold me up. I stumbled backward. Hitting the couch, Ethan crouched beside me, pulling on latex gloves that squeaked faintly in the quiet. Just relax, he murmured. I've done this 100 times. What are you doing? He didn't answer. He took a syringe from his bag and held it up to the light. The liquid inside shimmered faintly. Not clear. Not cloudy, something in between. He tapped the needle twice. Just like in movies, your heart rate's too high, he said softly. We'll fix that. I kicked out, catching his shoulder. The syringe clattered across the floor. For a moment I thought I'd won. But then his face changed. No longer polite. No longer human. His jaw tightened, eyes going flat and empty. He stood slowly, straightening his coat. You shouldn't have done that, he said. And then smiling again. It's okay. You're not the first. The power went out all at once. Every light in the apartment snapped off, leaving only the city glow bleeding through my window. In that faint orange light, I saw him kneel to pick up the syringe. I scrambled to the door. The lock jammed. Do you know what's inside this? He called out, voice low and almost tender. It slows the heart but keeps the brain awake. Fascinating stuff. He was getting closer. I could hear the faint squeak of his gloves again. I grabbed the nearest thing, a lamp, and swung it as he lunged. The crash echoed through the apartment, followed by his grunt of pain. I didn't wait. I ran. I didn't stop running until I reached the street. I don't even remember unlocking the door. When I looked back, the apartment window was dark. I called 911, voice shaking. They sent officers who searched the place, but there was no sign of him. No medical bag. No broken lamp. No record of anyone named Dr. Ethan Vale in the city database. The officers looked at me like maybe I'd imagined the whole thing, except for one detail. The paper. It was still there on my coffee table. The waiver. But now my signature was on it. For weeks after, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Every notification on my phone felt like a warning. Then one night, around the same time he'd arrived before, 11:42 p.m., I got a text. How's the patient feeling? No number, no contact name, just those words. I blocked it, deleted the app, changed my number, even moved across town. But the messages didn't stop. They came through email, then from burner accounts on dating apps I'd never even used. Each one said the same thing. You never finished your treatment. 2 months later, I was unpacking at my new place when the mail slot clattered. Inside was a small padded envelope, no return address. Inside it, a folded paper, creased and slightly damp. Patient follow-up format. The bottom, attending physician, Dr. Ethan Vale. Status, pending house. Kali tore it up, threw it out, tried to forget, but the next morning, the paper was back on my nightstand, perfectly smooth, not torn at all. Last night I woke to a soft knock at my door. 3 gentle taps, then a pause. And through the peephole I saw him, Ethan, smiling, wearing the same neatly pressed coat. He held the black medical bag in one hand and my torn waiver in the other. When he saw me looking, he whispered through the door, "You signed, remember? I make house calls." The knocking hasn't stopped, it's steady. Patient, 3 soft taps. Pause. 3 more, like a heartbeat outside my door. I haven't moved from the floor in hours. The clock on my stove says 12:41 a.m., but it feels like days have passed. My phone is dead. My hands are shaking too much to plug it in. I keep whispering to myself, he's not real. He's not real, but I saw him. Through the peephole. The smile, the bag, my signature, and the paper on the nightstand. It's still there waiting. The knocking stops. For a moment, the silence is worse. I can hear the hum of the refrigerator, my own heartbeat, and then something slides under the door. It's white. A folded note, perfectly creased. I crawl forward inch by inch until I can see it. My name is written on the front in clean block letters. M.I.A. Turner inside, only one line in neat handwriting. You forgot your follow-up appointment. And below it, A time, 12:59 a.m. I glance at the clock. 12:57, the air shifts. There's a faint sound from the kitchen. A small click, then another. The lock on my back door. I live alone. Every light in the apartment flickers once, twice, and dies. Then the smell hits me. A faint chemical scent, sharp and metallic, like rubbing alcohol in old blood. I grab the nearest thing, a pair of scissors from my desk, and press myself against the wall. My own breathing sounds too loud. Then I hear it. Footsteps on the tile. Slow. Careful. "Doctor's here," a voice whispers. The beam of a small flashlight cuts through the dark. It sweeps across the room, landing on the couch where I'd been before. He's inside. I can see his outline now. Tall, calm, like a shadow wearing skin. The light glints off his glasses as he looks around. "You didn't have to make this difficult," he says softly. "I was trying to help." He moves toward the coffee table, sets the medical bag down gently, and unzips it. That sound, the metal teeth parting, makes my stomach twist. Something glass clinks. I can't see what he's pulling out. I edge along the wall. Toward the bedroom, the floor creaks under my foot. He freezes, the flashlight turns. "Ah," he says. "There you are." I run. I slam the bedroom door and shove the dresser against it, my pulse hammering in my ears. The handle rattles once, then stops. For a second, I think maybe he gave up. Then I hear it, not banging, not shouting, just a slow scraping sound, metal against wood. He's using something on the lock. "Please," I whisper. "Please stop." He chuckles quietly. "You're panicking." "That's why I came. To calm you down." I grab my dead phone, praying for even 1% of battery. But nothing. The scraping stops. Silence. Then, from the other side of the door, his voice right at the edge. "Mia, do you know what happens when adrenaline wears off?" The body shuts down. It's fascinating. Something heavy hits the door. Once. Twice. The dresser shifts. I grab the lamp cord, yank it free, and smash the bulb. The room goes black again, only the thin light from outside leaking through the curtains. Another hit. The dresser slides half an inch. I back toward the window. Second floor. If I jump, I'll break something. But that's better than what's waiting outside the door. One more hit. The door cracks. I climb onto the desk, push the window open. Cold air floods in, slicing through my skin. He's still talking, voice almost sing-song. "I'm proud of you for fighting back. Most don't." The door gives. He steps inside, calm again. Flashlight beam sweeps across the room and lands on me halfway out the window. He smiles. "Don't fall," he says. "You'll need those legs for your next appointment." I jump. The world goes white, then black. I wake up on the grass below, everything spinning. My ankle screams, but I crawl. Away from the building, into the shadows between parked cars. Behind me, his silhouette appears at the broken window. He watches. Doesn't chase. He just raises a hand and waves once. Then he steps back into the dark. The next thing I remember is headlights and a voice. "Miss, are you okay?" It's a neighbor. She's holding her phone, calling 911. The paramedics come. The police. Questions, lights, paperwork. I tell them everything. The doctor, the syringe, the bag, the waiver. But when they search the apartment, it's spotless. No syringe. No blood. No bag. Even the broken window is intact. Like it never happened. They check my ID. Ask about medication, stress, mental health. By the end of the night, I'm the one they don't trust. The hospital discharge. Paper said psychogenic episode. Fancy words for "we think you imagined it." They gave me pills and a follow-up appointment with a therapist. But 3 days later, I got another envelope in the mail. Inside, another form. Progress report, patient still non-compliant. Next session required. And taped to it, a photo of me in the hospital bed, asleep. The angle, above me, from the ceiling, like from a security camera that shouldn't exist. I moved again. Different city. New number. No apps. I stopped posting anything online, but last week a delivery showed up at my door. No return label, no driver in sight, just a box. Inside, my old medical chart printed out and clipped together. The last page had one new entry in perfect handwriting. Dr. Ethan Vale procedure rescheduled. Home visit confirmed date. TBD at the bottom. In blue ink, my own signature. I never signed it. 2 nights ago, I woke up to a soft sound. Not a knock this time, a click, the front door unlocking, then silence. The smell hit a second later, sterile, chemical, familiar. I didn't move, didn't breathe, and then, from the dark hallway, Mia. He whispered, "You missed your appointment again." I turned on every light, every lamp, nothing there. The door still locked from the inside, but the black bag was on my kitchen counter, open, empty, waiting. I called the police again. They checked. No signs of forced entry. One officer older paused when I mentioned the name. "Ethan Vale," he repeated quietly. "We had a file on someone by that name. Surgeon. Disappeared 5 years ago after a malpractice case. Patients went missing." "Missing?" I whispered. He nodded. "Bodies never found." He leaned closer. "You sure that's the name?" I nodded. He hesitated. "Because according to our report, that name was an alias. The real one belonged to a medical examiner who worked with the coroner's office over 50 years ago." I stared at him. "That's not possible," he shrugged. I didn't say it made sense. I started sleeping with my phone recording. Every night I wake up to hours of static, except last night. At exactly 12:59 a.m., the static cuts out. Then a voice, soft, calm, familiar. "Breathe, Mia, just breathe. I'll make this quick," and a faint sound, like a glove snapping into place. Then the metallic click of a syringe. The recording ends. Today, when I came home from work, my front door was unlocked again. Inside, everything normal. Except for one thing. On the kitchen table sat a small glass vial filled with faintly shimmering liquid. Next to it, a note. "Self-administer before midnight. Compliance is important." I threw it in the trash, packed a bag, and booked a motel across town. But when I opened my luggage, the vial was inside, wrapped in the same paper as before. I'm writing this from that motel now. It's 11:42 p.m. The lights keep flickering, and the air smells like alcohol again. Someone's outside my door. 3 soft taps. Pause. 3 more. He always knocks the same way. I can see his shadow under the door. And this time, he's not alone. There are 2 shadows. One taller, one smaller. A woman's voice whispers, "Doctor, she's ready." The knob turns. I almost didn't swipe right on him. His profile was too perfect, not in a model way, but in a curated way. Every photo looked like it was chosen for a magazine article called "The Guy You Should Marry." Clean smile, dimples, holding a coffee. One photo with a dog that didn't quite look like his, but the last line of his bio got me. Just trying to feel human again. It felt real, raw. So, I swiped. He matched instantly. His name was Derek. He said he was 32. Lived a few miles away, worked in real estate. From the start, he texted like someone who paid attention. Not in a love bomb way, just calm, steady. The kind of man who asked questions and remembered the answers. Our first conversation lasted 6 hours. He told me about how he'd lost his fiancée 2 years ago in a car accident. He didn't linger on it, but I could feel the weight in his words. He said he wasn't sure if he was ready to date again, but something about my profile made him feel peaceful. No one had ever said that to me before. By our 3rd night of texting, he sent me a photo, an old one of him and a woman at the beach. "She was the love of my life," he wrote. Her name was Alyssa. I typed out, "You don't have to talk about her if it hurts," but he replied before I could send it. "No, it's okay. You kind of remind me of her." Something about that stuck in my head. We didn't meet for almost 2 weeks. I liked the pacing. It felt safe. Then one night around 1 a.m., I got a notification from a private account on Instagram. "Alyssa Dreams followed you." The name hit me like a jolt. Alyssa. The profile photo was blurry. A woman's face turned half away from the camera. Dark hair, faint smile. I assumed maybe it was a memorial account or a fan page. People make those for lost loved ones sometimes. Then I noticed something strange. The bio said, "You shouldn't be with him," and the location tag underneath 1.3 miles away. I sent Derek a screenshot, half joking. "Hey, is your ex haunting my socials?" He didn't reply for almost 10 minutes. Then finally, That's not funny. Delete it. His tone changed instantly. I told him I didn't mean anything by it, that it just freaked me out. He left me on read until the next morning, then, as if nothing happened, he texted, "Good morning. Coffee today?" I should have said no, but curiosity is a powerful drug. We met at a quiet cafe downtown. He looked exactly like his photos. Maybe too exactly. Same jacket, same hair, same smile. Like the pictures hadn't aged a day. In person, he was polite but distant. Every time I asked something personal, he steered the conversation back to me. "You've got her eyes," he said once, almost absent-mindedly. "Whose?" He blinked. "No one." That night, the Alyssa account messaged me. "Don't go to his apartment." I stared at it for a full minute before replying. "Who is this?" The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then a photo came through. It was me and Derek, taken earlier that day at the cafe, the exact moment I'd laughed at something he said. The angle was from outside the window. Someone had been watching us. I called Derek immediately. "Did you give someone our location today?" I demanded. He sounded half asleep. "What are you talking about?" "Someone sent me a photo of us." "From the cafe," he sighed. "You're letting weird people get in your head again." "Again?" He hesitated. "You're not the first person that accounts contacted." My throat went dry. "What do you mean?" He exhaled slowly. "Every woman I talk to online, she finds them. Pretends to be her. Sends messages. It's sick." I didn't know whether to believe him or not, but the fear in his voice felt real. The next day, I tried to report the account, but when I searched it, it was gone, deleted. I told myself it was just some troll, maybe someone stalking him. But that night, I woke up to a faint buzzing sound from my phone. A new notification. "Instagram again. Alyssa Dreams followed you." The account was back. Same photo, same bio. Except this time, the location tag had changed. Miles away. I froze. My apartment was dark, silent except for my breathing. I turned off my screen. Waited. Then, from the hallway outside my door, came a faint sound like soft humming. A woman's voice. It was barely there, almost tuneless, but I could tell the melody, the same one Derek had been humming absent-mindedly at the cafe. My entire body went cold. I called him again, whispering, "Derek, someone's outside my apartment." He sounded calm. Too calm. "Did she find you?" "Who?" He paused. "Alyssa. Stop, she's dead." "You told me she died." "I did," he said quietly, "but she doesn't stay that way." The line went dead. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak of the floorboards, every passing car light felt like an eye watching me. By morning, the account was gone again. So was Derek. His dating profile had vanished. Messages deleted, number disconnected, all traces gone. But the humming didn't stop. Sometimes I hear it faintly through the vents, like someone in the next apartment, and sometimes when I check my phone, I see it again for just a second before it disappears. "Alyssa Dreams followed you. That was 2 weeks ago." Last night, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. No subject line, inside one sentence, "He misses you. Come home." Attached was a photo of an apartment I didn't recognize, but I swear I'd seen the curtains before. Floral pattern, blue and white. Then I realized they were the same ones from Derek's cafe photo, the ones in the background behind him. Except in this new picture, someone was standing in front of the window. A woman, smiling faintly, with my eyes. I didn't mean to go back, but curiosity has a way of rotting your sense of reason. It had been 3 nights since the last message. 3 nights of no sleep, of phantom humming through the walls, of feeling watched in my own home. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the curtains, blue and white floral, and the shadow of the woman who looked like me. Finally, I snapped. I opened my laptop, logged into a fake Instagram account, and searched for Alyssa Dreams again. It wasn't there, but the photo was. Someone had reposted it on a ghost hunting subreddit titled "Found Footage of the Living," and the top comment said, "That's from the Willowview Apartments, Building C." It was a 30-minute drive. I told myself I was only going to check, that I wasn't actually going to do anything stupid. But the second I pulled into the parking lot, the deja vu hit me so hard I almost couldn't breathe. The same trees from Derek's profile photos, the same old brick layout, the same number on the mailbox, 304. I didn't even have to look for it. I just knew which apartment was his. The door was cracked open, not wide, just enough to show that someone had gone in and or left. I'm in a hurry. I called out softly, "Derek?" No answer. The air inside was thick and stale, like it hadn't been lived in for months, but it had been. There was still half a coffee mug on the table. The faint smell of cologne, shoes by the door, and a single photo frame face down on the counter. When I picked it up, I saw us, not me and Derek. Alyssa and Derek. She did look like me. Almost identical, if not for the eyes. Hers were emptier. Something creaked in the bedroom. I turned toward the sound and froze. Someone had drawn on the wall in thick black marker, "You shouldn't have come back." I backed up slowly, but as I did, I noticed something else. Tiny holes, lined along the baseboard under the wall art camera. Holes. There were at least 6 of them. I knelt closer and saw a small lens glinting in the dark. Someone had been watching whoever lived here, maybe. Both of them. A sudden ping from my phone nearly made me drop it. A new message in from Derek's number. "Get out of there now." I typed back instantly. "Where are you?" No response, then another text. "She's with you." The screen flickered. For a split second, the message changed. "I'm with you." I turned toward the mirror near the entryways and froze. There was movement behind me. Not in the room, but in the reflection. A woman stood in the doorway of the bedroom, pale still, hair falling over one side of her face, and she was smiling. When I spun around, the doorway was empty. I ran. Outside, I called the police. They said they'd send a unit, but by the time they arrived, the door to 304 was locked again. Completely. No sign of forced entry. No coffee cup, no photo frame, nothing written on the wall, like it had all been wiped clean. They told me to go home, to avoid trespassing on private property. But when I got home that night, there was an envelope taped to my door. No name, no address, just a single Polaroid inside me, standing in Derek's apartment that afternoon, taken from behind. That was the night I stopped sleeping altogether. Every device I owned started acting weird. My webcam light blinking on by itself, my phone battery draining fast, notifications popping up and disappearing before I could read them. And then, the humming started again, not through the vents this time, from inside the room. I checked every corner, every closet, even under the bed. Nothing. But when I opened my laptop, my Instagram feed refreshed automatically, and there it was, Alyssa Dreams, live now. The preview showed my apartment, my bedroom, the same one I was standing in. I slammed the laptop shut and unplugged it, heart pounding so loud it drowned everything else. Then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. Static. Then, softly, a woman's voice. "You took my place." The call cut off. I packed a bag that night and drove to my sister's house 2 towns over. For a week, nothing happened. No messages. No humming. No accounts. I started to think maybe I'd imagined the whole thing, that I'd fallen too deep into my own paranoia. Then one morning, my sister called from the living room. "Hey, did you change your profile picture?" I frowned. "No, why?" She turned her phone toward me. On my Instagram, the display photo was different. It was me, but not me. The face was slightly off. The smile too wide. Caption, "Home again." I deleted my account. Factory reset my phone. Started new emails, new passwords, new everything. But the same night I did that, a notification appeared on my new phone. An airdrop request. Sender, Alyssa file name, IMG66JPGI, didn't accept it. But somehow the image still downloaded, a mirror selfie, me sleeping, taken from the foot of the bed. I called the police again. They searched my apartment, nothing. No break-in, no camera. But when they left, I noticed something new on my coffee table. A small black phone. Old flip style. Scratched up, it wasn't mine. I opened it. There was only one photo stored inside. Derek and Alyssa. smiling. Behind them, I saw a reflection in the glass window. A woman standing off to the side, face blurred, but her outline looked familiar. It was me. I tried to track down Derek after that. I even found a property record for his name. Except the record showed he'd been dead for 2 years. The date of death. The same day, Alyssa's car had crashed. I stopped trying to understand after that. Some nights, I hear their voices, faint, overlapping, his saying, "She's with you." Hers whispering, "You took my place." And sometimes when I open my phone, my camera turns on by itself, as if something behind me wants to be seen. Last week, I woke up to a new message from a number that wasn't saved. "It's okay. We're together now." Attached was a video. The screen flickered, grainy like old VHS footage. It showed 2 figures standing hand in hand in front of my apartment building, a man and a woman. They turned toward the camera and smiled. Then the camera panned down to a phone lying on the ground, recording. My phone. The app told me I'd found my perfect match. It said 99% compatibility. Same music taste, same coffee order, same comfort movie. And the profile picture? It was me. Not someone who looked like me. Me. Same hair, same freckle near the left eye, same scar from when I fell off my bike in 5th grade. The only difference was the caption under the photo. Sometimes you have to meet yourself to start over. At first I thought it was a glitch. Some weird mirror filter bug or stolen photo scam. But the name wasn't mine. It was Lena M. and my name is Lena Michaels. I laughed it off until the app sent a notification. Your mirror match has requested to meet in person. It came with a map pin. A coffee shop 15 minutes from my apartment. Ground and Grain, the same one where I'd had my first date with Ben, the same one I hadn't been to since that night ended with him walking out mid-conversation and blocking my number. Something about the symmetry of it all pulled me in. Maybe curiosity, maybe self-destruction. I pressed accept. The next morning the sky was colorless, the kind of heavy gray that muffles sound. Inside Ground and Grain, everything was the same. Burnt espresso smell, flickering pendant lights, that sticky wooden table in the corner. I chose a seat facing the window, half hoping no one would show. Then she walked in, and my heart stopped. She was me. Not a twin, not a doppelganger. Me, same posture, same jacket, even the same chipped nail polish I'd put on 3 days ago. She smiled like she'd been expecting me. "Hi, Lena." My throat went dry. "What is this? Some kind of prank?" She tilted her head. "You messaged me first. That wasn't true. I hadn't sent her anything." But when I checked the app later, the message history showed a long conversation. My words, my tone, my phrasing, asking to meet here today. At 10 a.m. I swear I never wrote a single word. We talked for almost an hour, or more accurately, she talked, calmly, easily, as if she'd lived my life and just wanted to compare notes. She knew details she shouldn't have. My college roommate's name, the street I grew up on, the exact date my mother died. Every time I tried to leave, she'd say something that rooted me back in the chair. "You always run when you're scared. You know how this ends if you don't listen." Her voice was mine too, same cadence, same small tremor on certain words. When the barista came to clear the table, she looked straight at her and asked, "1 or 2 checks?" The other Lena smiled. "Just one." And when I turned to the window for half a second, she was gone. I rushed outside, nothing. No car, no footsteps, no shadow. Just my own reflection in the window, distorted by the glare. That's when I noticed my reflection wasn't copying me. I lifted my right hand. The reflection lifted the left. I froze. Then it smiled. I didn't. That night I deleted the app. But my phone kept lighting up with notifications from a profile that shouldn't exist. Mirror match, 1. New message when I opened the app. It said account not found. Still, messages kept arriving. You left early. We're not finished. Stop pretending you're real. 2 days later, I caught my reflection. Breathing out of sync with me, I'd brush my teeth and watch steam fog the mirror. Her exhale came. Half a second later. Sometimes she'd look just slightly to the side, like she was focusing on something behind me. And once, when my phone vibrated on the counter, her hand reached out toward it before mine did. The fourth night I couldn't sleep. The house was full of tiny clicks and pops. The sound of electronics waking up on their own. My laptop screen glowed faintly even though it was closed. When I opened it, the camera light came on. Then the screen showed a live feed. Me, sitting on my bed. Except the timestamp said the footage was from 2 hours in the future. In it, I was standing at the mirror and smiling. I slammed the lid shut and threw a blanket over it, heart racing. Moments later, my phone buzzed again. A message. No sender ID. See you soon. Attached was a photo. My apartment door, taken from the hallway. The next morning, my neighbor, Mrs. Klein, knocked, holding an envelope. It was taped to your door, she said. No name. Inside was a small square mirror. Old cracked edges darkened like smoke. A sticky note on the back read, "For when you forget who's who." I tossed it in a drawer. That night, it was back on my dresser. I started noticing small differences in my apartment. My mug moved from the counter to the sink. The window blinds shifted half open. The photo of my mom faced the wall. Every time I blinked, something was slightly off. Once, I caught sight of my reflection smiling a fraction too early, like she already knew what expression I was about to make. I whispered, "What do you want?" The reflection's lips didn't move. Then words appeared across the fogged glass, written backward from the inside. "Let me out." I smashed the mirror, but the cracks didn't stop the reflection. She stared through the shards, still moving. Blood trickled down my knuckles from the glass, but I couldn't look away. She leaned closer. Her mouth moving through no sound came out. Then my phone buzzed on the counter. Mirror match. It's time. I turned around. Nothing there. When I looked back, the mirror was whole again and empty. The next day I went to my sister's place. Told her everything. She tried to laugh it off, said I was overworked. She handed me her phone to prove there was no such app. But when she opened the store search, the first result was mirror match. Find your true reflection. Same logo. Same tagline. She frowned. Weird. It says you're online. That night I stayed in her guest room. She knocked once around midnight, checking if I was okay. After she went to bed, I heard the faint sound of a notification. Not from my phone. From the mirror across the room, a dim light pulsed inside it, syncing to the tone of the app's message ping. When I approached, text rippled across the surface like water. We're in the same place now. Then a reflection appeared. Not me, not her, but both of us. Blended, I stumbled back, tripping over the chair. The mirror fell, shattering. Silence. Then, softly from the shards, I can't explain why I went back to my apartment. The drive was a blur of streetlights and rain-slicked pavement, each red light feeling like a countdown. My sister begged me to stay, but I had to see it, had to confront whatever this thing was. The moment I stepped inside, I smelled it. Metallic, faintly sweet, like copper mixed with something burning. The apartment was quiet, but wrong. The blinds were half open. The photo of my mom, face down. The chair I'd left upright collapsed on its side. Every small detail was altered. And the mirror. It leaned against the wall in the living room, completely intact. No cracks, no shards. And inside it, she waited, not me, not a reflection. Something other wearing my face. She smiled. I tried to run. The door slammed shut behind me. No wind, no force, just snap. The lock clicked. She was closer now, pressing against the mirror like it was a window, watching me move. Her lips didn't move, but I heard her. You can't leave. I grabbed a chair and hurled it at the glass. It bounced harmlessly off, leaving no dent, no crack. Then she tapped. One sharp tap turned on the inside. The sound echoed in the room. We're the same now. I ran to the kitchen, pulled knives from the block, scissors, anything I could throw. She followed in the mirror. Slow, deliberate, moving even though I wasn't moving. I grabbed my phone, tried to call 911, but it wouldn't turn on. The battery was full 2 hours ago. Now it read 0%. Stop pretending, she whispered. The voice was mine. Every inflection, every tremor, every hesitation, I staggered back. The knife slipped from my hands. I backed into the bedroom. The mirror reflected me perfectly, except it didn't. Every movement I made, she mirrored a second after. And not just my movements, my thoughts. When I thought I'm going to escape, she raised her hand to block my path in the reflection. "You'll never leave," she said. I tripped over the rug, scraping my palms. The mirror seemed to grow larger as I crawled backward, filling the wall, filling the ceiling, filling the whole apartment. And then it blinked, a moment of darkness. When I opened my eyes, I was standing inside the mirror. The apartment stretched endlessly around me, my living room, my bedroom, my kitchen. But everything was duller, colder. A faint fog clung to the corners. She stood a few feet away. Or maybe I was her. I couldn't tell anymore. My own voice echoed, "Who are you?" She tilted her head. "I'm you. I'm what you leave behind." I ran, every hallway, every room, every familiar object, warped. My shoes made no sound on the floor. The air was thick, sticky, like swimming through syrup. When I reached the bedroom mirror, she was already there. Except it wasn't a mirror anymore. It was a doorway, a dark, endless void, she whispered. "Step through, or stay forever." I almost did. The pull was overwhelming, magnetic. I felt my body bending, stretching toward the surface, and then a small voice, my own, I screamed, "No!" I fell backward into my own apartment, or what I thought was my apartment. The lights were dim. Everything looked normal, but it was too quiet. The fridge hummed, but faintly. My bed sagged in the middle. I checked the mirror. My reflection smiled. Not me, she didn't step back when I moved. Her hand came out of the glass, brushing the countertop. I screamed and ran. For the next 3 days, I didn't sleep in the apartment. I stayed at friends' houses, coffee shops, libraries, anywhere the mirror wasn't. But the messages didn't stop. Phone notifications, emails, app alerts, all from Mirror Match. All with the same phrase, "We're waiting." Then, last night, my phone buzzed again. I picked it up, trembling, checked the mirror. You'll know why. I didn't want to, but I couldn't resist. I returned home around 2 a.m. Every light flickered. The apartment smelled like metal again, and on the wall where the mirror had been, it was gone. In its place, a second perfect version of me sitting in a chair reading a book. I froze. She looked up and smiled. "You finally made it." I ran for the door, locked. No keys worked. No force could open it. Then I realized I wasn't in my apartment anymore. I was somewhere else entirely, somewhere she wanted me, somewhere she controlled. The last thing I saw before the lights went out completely. The reflection, my face, her smile, reaching toward me. Time to finish what we started.